Ani everyone. So I saw a video from Bethany. She's a YA fantasy. I'll link her channel down below, where she did her word count for 2022. And it made me really curious because I knew I kind of kept track of it in 2022. So I wanted to do a full count. When we look at January for the word count, I actually had it under the author section, which I kind of like this layout a lot. That's why it's tabbied, because I'm going to try and pull this into the next one. So I had that week there, but then I had to hunt for the other ones. But see, I did a word count down on the bottom, and I actually even totaled it for myself down on the corner down here. So January was kind of easy to find the word counts here. So I did it on the side. So in January of 2022, I was just starting the bullet journal journey and I was trying to figure out how to do it. So I only did about 11 days. But the count was 6,404, which is amazing. I'm pretty proud of that anyway, because I was a little bit struggling to get back into my writing. And with February, when I was looking at the word counts, I did a word count bubble here, word counts over here, and then I totaled it. Word count inside this jar, and then word count in the star, which was actually really hard to do in the stars, but I had them separated out. And then in February, I made a point to write, and I did 16 days, and I got 13,477. I had it down on the bottom down here in squares for that beginning week. Yeah, so down in the squares right here, down over here, and inside my wonderful little word count thing. So, and I wrote down the total down here. And then I had some back here. And then in March, I got a big jump of 22 days and 20,085 words. This section up here was my word count, and I really like that layout, so I'm probably going to do that here in the next few months. So with this month, it was all laid out right here, and you can tell there's a bunch of zeros. And then in April, I only wrote 4 days that month, but I still ended up at least writing 3,678 words. And then for May, it was the same way. I had it up top, so it was easy to count the days and the amounts. And then in May, I wrote 10 days with a total of 7,939. For June, same thing. I really like this layout apparently. June, I only wrote 3 days with a total of 1,876. But then for July, there was no section for writing anywhere. And that's why I think my word count was 0, because I didn't have any reminders or anything for it. July, I didn't write anything. No days, no word count. And I think the reason that happened in July is first because there was a lot going on with family, people being around a lot more during the summertime. And also, I did not do myself a solid. I did not write a word tracker, word counter, anything to kind of help me remember that I needed to write. So I was looking through it, I wasn't even thinking about writing. And then for the whole month of August, I had it on the side here. But even then, I didn't completely do it all the time. And then in August, I did a word counter. And I went up to 6 days with 3,158. And then for September, I think I just wrote it in the days. Yep, I wrote it in the days that I was doing it. And there was only these few days that I did word count. September, I only wrote 3 days with 2,334. And then in October, again, I wrote on the days, but I didn't really have a space for the word count. And I think that affects the way that I write or keep track of it. In October, I wrote 2 days, which that was a very crazy month. There was a lot going on in my personal life. But I wrote 1,344. And then in November, same thing. There was no space. This one I really had to hunt. I had checked it like 3 times. Like, really? I didn't write anything? And then in November, I didn't do a word counter again. I didn't do a section where I could just keep track of my words. And I didn't write anything in November. For December, I only wrote right here, and I wrote it in pen, but I still had to search for that one too. So I really didn't like having to search. And then in December, I only wrote 1 day with 1,144. So it varied per month, but most of the time when I wrote, which I write differently than other people, I write 15 minutes in each of my books, and I usually work on 2 books at the same time. 30 minutes each day. I wrote a total of 2,340 minutes, which roughly equals 39 hours. I didn't even do a full work week of writing in the year of 2022, which just goes to show, I mean, if I didn't have to work full-time, if I had the time to do 15 minutes here and then come back in 15 minutes and 15 minutes throughout the day, I can't imagine what my word count would be then, which would be awesome. But overall, that's pretty amazing that I only worked 39 hours and I got a total of, are you guys ready? 61,439. So that's how many words I wrote in 2022. So, and a total of 78 days with 39 hours over those 78 days. I'm excited to see where January goes because I've already written more than I did in 2022. Not quite 61,000, but in the month of January, I've definitely like doubled or tripled it. So that's exciting. So if I keep going at that rate, I should be a lot further along. I mean, January, looking at January, and I'm not even done yet, is comparable to one of my better months. It has 10,139 words just in January 2023. Hopefully I can continue with this flow so that I can continue to add to my word count, but not just that, so that I can finish my writing projects. That's the key important part. Doing the word count for me helps me understand that I'm making progress. It helps my brain go, yes, you are making progress. It might be little tiny steps, but at least I'm going somewhere. Published 10 years ago, and I fell off the writing wagon a couple times. Hit some bumps in that rough road, but I'm trying to get back into it, trying to create stories and continue on. So I think keeping track of word count will help me. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into writing.